As we move through our packet capture process and packet analysis, one of the common tools that we use is Wireshark. Wireshark is available for Windows, Linux, and Mac systems. It is a graphical environment that we can perform packet analysis in, and then we are able to capture live traffic or open PCAP files. So this is the Wireshark interface, and as you progress through this course, you're going to use Wireshark in a number of the lab exercises. So by the time you're finished with this course, you'll be much more familiar with the use of Wireshark as a packet capture and analysis tool. Again, this is a graphical environment, very different from TCP dump. It still captures packets, but it gives you a different way to view and analyze these packets. Again, PCAP files is what we can read here. And just like TCP dump, there are limitations to the speed that Wireshark can capture. So it takes a lot of time to process big files. And so, again, that's something to keep in mind that with the performance of the device that is running Wireshark. Also, the same holds true as far as capturing traffic. If you want to capture traffic and you're connected to a switch, you'll have to somehow get the traffic to the system that's running Wireshark. You do require administrative privileges or root access to run in promiscuous mode. And so here's the interface here of Wireshark. Now, just to kind of get a little bit of an overview on how Wireshark works, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our capture options. Now, our capture options, what we can do is go to capture and then options. You can see the shortcut on this system is Command K. We can also just click on the little options tab right there. Now, this shows us the interfaces, and we can use the different checkboxes to select these devices and whether we're going to capture on these devices or not. We can certainly select which interfaces we do and do not want to capture on. We click on Manage Interfaces, and then we simply say, okay, I want to show this interface, I don't want to show that, don't want to show that. There's those checkboxes there. So we do want to see Ethernet 0. Let's say we want to see Ethernet 1, and then we could go ahead and disable all these other interfaces because this system's actually running quite a bit. So we're going to say OK, and now we can see that it's now very limited in what we're seeing. So again, we have the ability to control that. We can turn on or off that promiscuous mode on these interfaces. Now remember, we have to have administrative privileges to be able to use Wireshark and actually capture in promiscuous mode. Now, just like TCP dump, Wireshark does support capture filters. This is the BPF filtering. So it's the Berkeley packet format, the packet filtering format. And we call these in Wireshark capture filters. So we can just click in this field and we can define a capture filter just like we did on the command line when we did TCP dump. Now, as mentioned, we can also open a file as a PCAP format, and so here's one that was previously opened, and we're able to see some ARP, some DHCP v6, some hot standby router protocol traffic, or HSRP. Again, this is a PCAP. This is not live traffic in this case. Now, once we start a packet capture, or once we open a PCAP file like the one that you see here, up at the top of the screen, we see the packet list. So each of these individual selections that I'm making here is a separate packet. So essentially on the screen right now I see a total of 11 packets, and we can modify this and see more packets in the stream. As we select a packet, in the middle here we get our packet details, and this can be expanded and we can see all the details of the packet. Now, we've already talked about our frames, we've talked about ARP already. Here's an ARP Resolution Reply. And so we can see the sender IP address, and we can see the sender's MAC address, and we can see the target MAC address and the target IP address. And then below we're seeing the packet bytes. And this lets us key in on specific bytes of that packet. And you'll notice as I click through them, the bytes here are highlighted in the center there in the packet details portion. Some of the basic analysis that is performed here includes the translation of port numbers. So if we were to look at, let's see if we can find an HTTP packet here. Let's go ahead and start a live capture. And while we're on that live capture, let's go to, there we have some HTTP traffic popping up. So we'll go ahead and stop this. And then we can apply a display filter up here and just say that we want to see HTTP traffic. So here's our HTTP traffic. And in looking at this HTTP traffic, if we were to go into the details under the transmission protocol, we can see destination port is port 80 there. So it's able to help us to identify, we see this as port 80, but the protocol here in the packet list is showing us that it's HTTP. So it helps us with our analysis to identify the specific types of traffic. It makes it more human readable for us as opposed to the raw packets that we would see below. And again, as you go through this course, you're going to get more and more familiar with the Wireshark application. This is just an introduction to Wireshark, again highlighting the fact that this is something that we use as a security analyst to take a look at packets, identify anomalous behavior, and get a sense for what's happening on our network.